You ever have that feeling like you're climbing this ladder, working so hard, only to get to the top and realize it's leaning against the completely wrong wall? You're doing all the right things, you're chasing what you think is success, but something still feels hollow. Well, today, we're going to explore a really powerful new way to think about life. Not as some machine you have to perfectly control, but as a vast ocean you can actually learn to surf.
Okay, let's just be real for a second. Does this question hit home for you? I mean, you've checked all the boxes, right? The job, the routine, you've set the goals, but underneath it all, there's this nagging sense of exhaustion, or maybe you just feel like you're faking it. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know you're not alone, and it is not a personal failure. It's a signal, a big one. It's telling you that the entire operating system you've been running on is just completely outdated. So that brings us to our first section, running on empty. We're going to start by really looking at that feeling of being totally drained and see it not as something wrong with you, but as a crucial signal for change.
Let's get really specific about what burnout actually feels like, because it's not just about working long hours. It's this deep emotional starvation. It's that sense of futility where you just keep asking, why am I even doing this? It's that emotional numbness where you just stop caring. And you know that feeling of depletion, the kind that a good night's sleep doesn't even touch? Yeah, that. And maybe the most telling sign of all is that creeping bitterness towards people or things you used to love. This isn't just being tired. This is your soul running on fumes.
This quote, this just gets right to the heart of it all. The issue isn't your work ethic. It's not about how much you're doing, it's about how you're doing it. The problem is the entire approach we've been taught to follow, the fundamental way we think about our work, our lives, and what success is even supposed to be.
Okay, Section 2, life isn't a machine. So, if our whole approach is the problem, what exactly is wrong with it? Let's peel back the layers and uncover the flawed mental model that is causing all of this exhaustion.
So here they are, the two competing models for how to live. On the left, you've got the machine model. This is what we're all taught in school, at work, everywhere. Set a rigid goal, make a perfect 5-year plan, and then try to control every single outcome. But life isn't a machine, is it? Now look at the right, the ocean model. Think about a surfer. A surfer doesn't control the ocean. That's impossible. They learn to read the conditions, they position themselves for the right wave, and then they ride it dynamically. This is all about flow, not force.
And here's the crucial point. The machine model is pretty much guaranteed to fail. Why? Because life is messy. It's chaotic, it's unpredictable, and it's always moving. When you try to force a rigid plan onto this dynamic, living system, all you create is constant friction, constant anxiety, and this feeling that you're perpetually behind. You're basically trying to build a perfectly straight road through a stormy sea. It's just not going to work.
Section 3, your new inner compass. Okay, so if we're throwing out the old map, what do we navigate with? Well, this is the solution. We're going to build a brand new set of internal principles to guide your decisions, and really, your whole life.
The first and maybe most important principle of your new compass is energy. Look, we are obsessed with managing our time. But the real currency of your life, the thing that actually matters, is your energy. Just think about it. 1 hour when you're drained and miserable is worthless compared to just 10 minutes when you are completely in the zone. Your energy levels are pure, unbiased data. They tell you who you really are, not who you think you should be.
Okay, the second principle is alignment. This is the absolute secret to getting rid of all that internal friction. It's about asking one simple question. Is what I am doing in sync with who I am? Because that last line says it all. If you have to fight yourself every day just to win, you've already lost the most important battle. True, sustainable success comes from a sense of wholeness, not from just gritting your teeth and using willpower.
And finally, let's talk about capacity. Oh man, this is a real game changer. The old machine model is obsessed with control, but control is so fragile. One unexpected wave comes along, and your whole perfect system just breaks. The new goal isn't control. It's about building your capacity, your resilience, your adaptability. It's about becoming the kind of person who can surf any wave life throws at them.
So what does all this look like in the real world? Well, it means we have to completely shift the very metrics we use to measure a successful life. We've got to move from tracking salary to tracking fulfillment, from chasing status to cultivating serenity, from obsessing over raw output to managing our personal energy, and from just growth at all costs to finding a deep sense of alignment. At the end of the day,
What you measure is what you become.
All right, section 4, design, not discipline. Now, this all sounds great, but how do we actually do it? This section is all about practical application. It's about shifting away from relying on brittle willpower and instead designing smarter systems for your life.
And here is a tool you can use today. It's called the Energy Audit. It's so simple, but it is profound. For just 1 week, that's it. Track your energy like you would track your money. Every couple of hours, just check in. Am I energized, drained, or neutral? Then look for the patterns. What were you doing? Who were you with? Then you literally create an energy balance sheet. What fills you up? What drains you? And then you redesign your life around that data. You make your energizers non-negotiable, and you start putting up some serious boundaries around your biggest drainers.
This is such a powerful question. So many of us, especially high achievers, we just beat ourselves up constantly for procrastinating or not feeling motivated. We slap these labels on ourselves. I'm lazy, I'm undisciplined, something's broken in me.
But what if that's the completely wrong diagnosis? What if you're not lazy at all? What if you are simply running a system that was never, ever designed for the outcomes you truly want? The big idea here is that what feels like a personal failing is almost always just a system problem. This reframes everything. It's not about fixing you. It's about fixing the system you're operating inside of.
And that brings us to our final section, which reveals the ultimate aim of this whole shift in perspective. And, it's probably not what you think it is.
Our culture is completely obsessed with being happy all the time. But honestly, that's just a recipe for feeling like a failure. This new model suggests that those difficult emotions, anxiety, frustration, sadness, they're not problems that need to be eliminated. They're feedback. They are vital signals telling you that you're growing or that something is out of alignment and it needs your attention.
So that brings us to the new definition of success. It's not the next achievement. It's not the next promotion. The real goal, the true sign of a life well lived, is a sense of inner peace. It's that quiet confidence that comes when you know you are aligned with who you are and you have absolutely nothing left to prove to anyone.
So to wrap it all up, here is your new playbook. First, stop trying to control life like a machine. Learn to surf it like an ocean. Second, navigate using your new inner compass: energy, alignment, and capacity. Third, design better systems for yourself instead of just relying on pure discipline. And finally, always remember, the real goal isn't control or even constant happiness. It's a deep sense of peace and vitality.
And I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. Most of us see peace as something we earn at the very end of the struggle. It's the reward we get after all the hard work. But what if we've had it backwards this whole time? What if that feeling of peace isn't the destination at all? What if it's the compass that's been showing us we're on the right path all along?